Okay, so we as humans currently have a rather large problem. We need energy, but we don't have the space for renewables, and we cannot keep constantly pumping carbon dioxide into the atmosphere because it is just destroying our planet. But there is a solution. This solution has been rising in its effectiveness and popularity over the years despite being discovered in the 1940s. This solution is fission energy, otherwise known as nuclear energy. Now you may be wondering, how does nuclear fission work? Nuclear fission is the process by which most commonly uranium atoms are basically slammed into with a neutron that splits the atoms and produces heat energy. This process was discovered by scientist Enrico Fermi in 1942 when he created the first nuclear reactor, the Chicago Pile 1, under the stadium of the University of Chicago. Now, this heat energy is then used to heat up water, which is then used to create steam, and that steam is then used to turn a turbine, which then creates the energy that we use every day. This process is what is used in most energy production methods and is very safe with little chance of danger, and is actually used in most coal, hydro, oil, gas plants across the world, and is actually very safe. In fact, despite people being generally worried about nuclear energy, it is actually one of the safest energy sources we currently have access to, and there's information from Our World in Data saying that it has 0.03 deaths per terawatt hour, which is incredibly low being near wind and solar. And it actually has 99.8% fewer deaths than coal, 99.7% fewer deaths than oil, and 97.6% fewer deaths than natural gas. This makes nuclear energy one of, if not the safest energy sources, alongside solar and wind, while still producing much more energy than either renewable sources or fossil fuels. This is mostly due to the low maintenance of nuclear power plants because they only require refueling roughly every 1.5 to 2 years, making them much safer to operate than a coal or oil plant, for example. As well, it also solved the climate problem by producing less CO2 emissions than wind or solar with a 3 tons per gigawatt hour, making nuclear energy the lowest producer of carbon dioxide of any energy source, making it far safer for future humans as it lessens the impacts of climate change. Then there's, of course, the two primary issues people think of when they think about nuclear energy: nuclear meltdowns and nuclear waste. To start with nuclear meltdowns, they are actually far less common and cause far fewer deaths than what most people would guess. This is very easily shown with the 0.03 deaths per terawatt hour figure I said earlier, which basically means that every 33 years, one person dies from nuclear energy. This number is incredibly low and takes into the account the fallout and effects of Fukushima and Chernobyl, the two largest nuclear disasters in history, showing that even with these massive disasters, it is still an incredibly safe energy source. And in recent years, newer plants and reactors are even safer with easy ways to disable them, and we have stopped placing them in areas likely to be affected by earthquakes, which is what happened with Fukushima and Japan being triggered by an earthquake. Finally, for the nuclear waste issue, I actually contacted someone at a nuclear power plant to talk to them about nuclear waste and how they deal with it. But first, what is nuclear waste? Nuclear waste is a byproduct of nuclear fission and is most commonly seen as plutonium, but also can be many other types of heavy elements. Another misconception with nuclear waste is that it is all bad and harmful for you. This is not true, with the vast majority of waste created by nuclear power plants being no more dangerous to you than anything else you encounter in your daily lives. Now, the remaining stuff that is dangerous is dealt with very seriously, carefully, and effectively. The nuclear power plant I interviewed stated that they immediately place the waste in dry casks and it is stored on site, and according to them, once it is in the cask, it is so safe you could literally bear hug it. The only problem with this solution is that it is not permanent. But in the country of Finland, they have the only permanent nuclear waste storage in Onkalo, which places the waste in copper casks where it will hold the waste until it is no longer radioactive and is completely safe, making a permanent solution. Now that we've cleared up some of the issues around nuclear energy, please spread the word about the many benefits of nuclear energy and look into calling a nuclear power plant near you for more information. Thank you for watching.